Hello from beautiful Edinburgh. My name is Jenny. Welcome to The Bear and the Fox. I have some more great book recommendations to share with you today, so let's get started. I've got something really exciting to share with you today. Tickets for the Edinburgh International Book Festival, the world's largest public celebration of books, go on sale next week. Now, the programme is already out. Here's a copy of it, and it includes over 200 events for children, families and young people. Let me just show you here at the back. This is what it looks like. It's just at the back of the programme. So what I wanted to do is share some of my favourite events for children and families from the programme with you. And obviously, if you can't make it to Edinburgh and to the festival, you can still check out the amazing authors and illustrators and books that I'm about to share. Now, first up, I do need to make a short disclaimer. I actually currently work for the Edinburgh International Book Festival, but I want to assure you that all the opinions and recommendations in this video are entirely my own. It's completely unrelated to my work. It's just me as a book lover, having gone through the programme and picked out my favourites to share with you. And all the books that I'm going to show you in this video are either ones that I've bought myself or that I've borrowed from the library. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's move on to the books. So the children's event that I'm the most excited to see in the programme is Jim Field, the illustrator of the Oi series written by Kes Gray. And as you can see, we are huge fans. We've got Oi Frog, Oi Dog, Oi Cat, and we also have Oi Goat, which I can't show you because it's lost in the depth of my boy's bedroom. And these are really funny rhyming books about a frog who tries to match up all the animals to what they sit on. So frogs sit on logs, cats sit on mats, and so on. And as the books progress, it just gets funnier and funnier. And the reason I'm so excited that Jim Field is coming to the festival is because he is coming to talk about the new book in the series, Oi Duck-billed Platypus. It's about Frog trying to find things that rhyme with his non-rhyming animal friends, and the book isn't actually published until September, so later this year, and we get to have a sneak preview at the festival, so I'll definitely be trying to get to that with my boys. Someone else we're super excited to see in the programme is Steve Anthony. He's an author-illustrator and he's had quite a few books out, including the absolutely fabulous Please Mr. Panda. There are a couple of other Mr. Panda books, and there's actually a new one he's got coming out in August called Good Night, Mr. Panda. So he's coming to the festival to talk about his latest books. And so there's the Mr. Panda series, and here's another one that we borrowed from the library. It's called Unplugged. It's featuring a really cute robot. And Steve's books have great messages about being true to yourself and about being polite, and also the illustrations are fabulous. So Steve Anthony is one to look out for. Next up is Ed Vare, another author illustrator we really love. We've got his book Mr. Big, which is both funny and thoughtful, and it's one of our favourites. He's actually coming to the festival to talk about his new book, How to Be a Lion, but I can't show you that because it's not published until the end of June, which is why I've got Mr. Big here to show you instead. So Ed is coming to the festival to talk about his new book, which is all about the importance of individuality and staying true to yourself. But he's also going to be doing a free drop-in session where anybody can come and join in, and he's going to attempt to make the largest line that the book festival has ever seen. So it's a great free drop-in art and craft session that anyone can join in, so I'm going to try and get along to that. Next up is David Litchfield, who is also an author illustrator, and he is coming to the festival to talk about his new book, which is a sequel to his fabulous book The Bear and the Piano. And his new book is called The Bear, the Piano, the Dog and the Fiddle. And if his first book is anything to go by, then the sequel is going to be absolutely beautiful and fabulous. And the reason I'm excited that he's coming to talk about his new book at the festival, because it's also not going to be released until September later this year. So another chance to get a sneak preview of the new book. So I've got a couple more picture books for you, and I've suddenly realised that all the ones I've shown you so far are by men, which is entirely unintentional. They just happen to be authors and illustrators that we really love and are really excited to see. But the next book is by female author, and she's Rachel Bright, and she's coming to talk about her new book, The Squirrels Who Squabbled. And because I have two boys who like to squabble a lot, so I got them this book a while ago because I thought it was really funny. And actually they do love it. And coincidentally, it's illustrated by Jim Field, who you will remember from a few moments ago. He does get around quite a lot. And also, just while I'm talking about Rachel Bright, I just wanted to flag up her other book, which came out previous to The Squirrels Who Squabbled, which is The Lion Inside, also illustrated by Jim Field. They make quite a good team. So Rachel Bright is one to look out for, and we love her books and we're excited to see her in the programme. Next up is another author illustrator whom we really love and we're really excited to see in the programme, and I realise that I'm really repeating myself, but that's just how excited I am, and that's Jarvis. He's got a fantastic illustration style and his books are really funny. My boys love them. This is one of our favourites. Alan's Big Scary Teeth, that came out in 2016. And then last year in 2017, Mrs. Mole, I'm Home. It's also really funny. And then he's just had another book out in June this year, earlier this month, and that is called Tropical Terry. It's about fish. So Jarvis is coming to the festival to talk about his books. He's actually got 3 events. He's got 2 ticketed events where he's going to talk about all the colourful characters from his various books, and he's got a free drop-in event which is a big draw where you can join him to, I think it's to create a fishy collage fitting in with the theme of his new book, Tropical Terry. The last picture book I wanted to share is not a new one. In fact, it's been around for a while. It's a classic. It's The Tiger Who Came to Tea, written and illustrated by the fabulous Judith Kerr. And it's celebrating its 50th anniversary at the book festival this year. There's actually going to be a couple of tiger related events. There's going to be a ticketed event where Judith Kerr herself is going to be joined by her art editor Ian Craig and author Daniel Hahn for a lively discussion honouring her career, and that is aimed at children aged 10 plus and families and anyone else who would love to see Judith Kerr in discussion. But there's also going to be a big tiger tea party, which is another free drop-in event, so that sounds like a lot of fun and one to look out for. So that's all the picture book authors and illustrators that I have for you today. So now I wanted to share a couple of recommendations for chapter books for slightly older children. So my older boy is 7, he's going to be 8 later this year. He really still enjoys picture books, but he has also started reading chapter books both by himself and us reading chapter books to him at bedtime. So I've rounded up some of my favourites from the programme for you. First up is a book that was only actually released at the end of May. I discovered it through the programme and I thought it sounded so fantastic that I had to go out and buy it straight away. It's called Bad Nana, Older Not Wiser, and it's by Sophie Henn. So Bad Nana, it tells the story of 8-year-old Evie and her mischievous Nana, whose schemes keep getting bigger and badder. It's an illustrated chapter book, so it's great for kids who are just getting started with chapter books. And also it's not just illustrated, I'll give you a quick flick through. It's illustrated in neon pink. How fabulous is that? Next up is world cycling sensation Chris Hoy and his series Flying Fergus. Here's a couple of Flying Fergus books I borrowed from the library. So I'd heard of Flying Fergus, but I'd never read any of them. But when I mentioned this to my 7-year-old, he was like, oh yeah, Flying Fergus, our teacher is reading us that at school. I really love Flying Fergus. So he was really excited when he heard that Chris Hoy was coming to the festival to talk about the latest book in the series, which only came out in March of this year. And Chris Hoy will be joined by his illustration and writing team, Joanna Nadine and Claire Elsom. Next up is another series of illustrated chapter books. It's called The Bolds, and it's by Julian Clary and David Roberts. And if you look closely, you can see it says Free Book World Book Day. So this was one of the books that the kids could get with their book token that's given out for World Book Day here in the UK. And that's how we discovered it, and we really love the series. It's super funny. So it's about a family. They seem quite normal. They live in a house. They have jobs just like everybody else, but they're actually harboring a big secret because they are in fact hyenas, but nobody knows this. So Julian Clary and David Roberts are coming to the festival to talk about the latest book in the series, which is called The Bold Trouble at Home, and it was only just released in April of this year, so that should be exciting. Next up is a really funny adventure story. It's called Mr. Penguin and the Lost Treasure, and it's by Alex T. Smith. And this was actually recommended to me after my recent video on 50 great museum-themed books for children, because it features Mr. Penguin, the explorer, who is called in to investigate the case of the missing treasure from the Museum of Extraordinary Objects. So when I heard about this, of course, I had to go out and buy this for our collection of museum-themed children's books. This book is actually on our to read pile because we've got quite a few other books on the go at the moment, but I'm still really excited to see this included in the program, and also to discover that book 2 in the series is going to be published in September later this year. Another illustrated chapter book series that I had never heard about before, but I discovered through the program and I thought sounded really great, is Spinosaur. So here's a couple of Spinosaur books I got from the library. They are by Guy Bass, illustrated by Lee Robinson, and there's a new one in the series that's also just come out in June of this year. And Spinosaur combines two things that kids really love: spies and dinosaurs, and you put them together and you get Spinosaur. What a brilliant idea. So Guy Bass is coming to the festival to talk about his latest book in the Spinosaur series, and also about another book that he's recently released. So I've just got a couple more books for you, and the penultimate author I wanted to share is one that everybody's excited to see in the programme. He is the fastest growing children's author in the UK. It's David Walliams. Now, we have been reading David Walliams' Mr. Stink, which my 7-year-old got given for his birthday last year by one of his friends, and it's really hilarious. We're loving it. And David Walliams is coming to the festival to talk about his latest book, which I borrowed from the library just to show you. It's called Bad Dad, and it came out at the end of last year. So he's going to come and share that at the festival. And I wanted to finish with another anniversary. It's Horrible Histories. And as you can see on the front of this book, it says 20 horrible years, but this book was actually published a couple of years ago because it's the 25th anniversary this year, and the team behind Horrible Histories will be coming to talk about their award-winning series at the festival. And the anniversary is being marked with a special celebration yearbook, and all the titles in the Horrible History series are also being reissued. So if you're a fan of Horrible Histories, that's one to look out for. And that's all we have time for today. I do hope you enjoyed my selection of favourites. There are literally hundreds more events for children and families, and for adults too, of course, at this year's Edinburgh International Book Festival. You can also find a copy of the programme online. I will pop a link to that in the notes below, and I will also put a list of all the authors and illustrators and books that I have mentioned over on my blog, and I will put a link to that in the notes as well. If you've enjoyed today's episode, then please do like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you can't make it to Edinburgh and to the festival, you can still check out the recommendations, because you don't need to be in Edinburgh to read any of those books. And who knows, you might even find some great summer reads. So I will see you next time. Bye!